Welcome back to Randy Reviews. This is a channel where I like to talk about movies and TV shows that have affected me in some way, shape, or form, positive or negative. Today, I'm going to be talking about an apology I need to make. So there's a video that came out not too long ago. It's about me talking about how there's some things that went down in the past with my cousin. So this is my apology video to everybody and my apology video to him, so I don't get canceled. So about 15 years ago, I was borrowing my cousin's $2 bill and his silver dollar to take to show and tell. There's kind of a complicated history between me and my cousin. He used to come over to my house and eat dinner and stuff like that. We were pretty alright sometimes, but sometimes he would sing this one song and make me really red and angry. At dinner, he would sing this song. I'd go, beans, beans are good for your heart. The more you eat them, the more you fart. And I didn't like that because I had gas problems. And I couldn't really help it. It wasn't just beans. It was mostly everything that I ate would give me issues. So I didn't like it when he sang that song too much. He would also take my double A's out of my Game Boy and put them in his Game Boy. So when I went to go play Pokemon, I couldn't play. I remember this one time I just got Legacy of Goku, and I went to play it, and my Game Boy didn't have no batteries, and that was probably one of the worst memories I can remember. But so that's kind of a background of me and my cousin's history. But yeah, back to the main thing. So I was borrowing his $2 bill and his silver dollar, take show and tell, and I got home after show and tell. It went over really well with it. Everybody thought it was cool. No one ever seen a $2 bill before or a silver dollar really, so it was a big hit. My teacher was really impressed. Everybody's got a kick out of it. Everybody loved the $2 bill and silver dollar. But my cousin, he calls and he's like talking to my mom. My mom calls me down, go to the telephone. This is before you had iPhone Maxes and stuff like that. You just had to call house phone, and you couldn't call someone really directly. Whoever answers the house phone, they had to tell the other person that the call was for them. So my mom calls me down and says, your cousin's on phone. I said, okay. So I'm like, what's up? Thanks for letting me borrow the $2 bill and the silver dollar. That was really cool. It went well. I probably made a new friend because he really thought it was cool, but I told him that he could, play with it and hold it if he comes over. And I think that's really going to start my friendship with him. And this kid was one of the popular kids, and he's really cool, and you couldn't ever get his time because he had so many friends. So I'm like, hey, if I get it in with him over this $2 bill, silver dollar thing, now I was on the phone telling him this. I'm like, if I get this in with him on the $2 bill and the silver dollar thing, it's like, hey, I could get you in on this too, and we could be part of this new clique that isolates the other kids, because we're the ones ostracized usually. But if we formed this clique with me, my cousin, and my friend, we could be the ostracizers. I thought. So I'm like, I need to hold on to that $2 bill and that silver dollar for. And I'm on the phone with him. I was like, I need to hold on to that $2 bill and that silver dollar, till next week, till he can come over. And my cousin's like, okay, it sounds like a good plan. I like your plan. Just be careful. Don't let them tear it. I have it pressed. Don't really wrinkle it too much. All that stuff. And I'm like, all right, man. Don't worry. I'm good for it. I'm protect it with my life, man. I just want him to come over and chill and like this could be your end. And he was like, okay, okay. And I hung up the phone and then told mom, that my friend was coming over. Uh, she said, okay. So about a week or two went by. Fran comes over. I put the $2 bill and the silver dollar into a chest with a little lock on it to keep it safe. And I went and got it out. We're playing stuff, and he's like, yo, let me see that $2 bill, man. I'm like, all right. And I got the $2 bill out of that chest while we were playing and stuff. And he's like, hey, we're going to make another one. He's like, I watched this movie, man, where you put it in the copier thing and it just prints out more. He's like, I'm going to get $2 bill too, so next time show and tell I can show my $2 bill. So I'm like, all right, cool, man, let's do it. That sounds like a good idea. So I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, we need to use the copier thing. And she's like, all right. And so we went down to the library where they had a copier and put the $2 bill into the slot that goes into the thing and it copies. I didn't know that I put it in the wrong spot and it ripped in half. And I was like, well, it ain't that much money. It's just $2, so I don't see him going to be too mad about it. Plus, I still had the silver dollar. Well, or I thought I had the silver dollar. It turns out my friend that I was playing with when we went by Food City thought it'd been funny to pay for 2 Mountain Dews with the silver dollar because it was 50 cents each. So, yeah. I kind of started to feel bad about that instantly. So I call up my cousin. Well, I'm jumping ahead of myself. We get home, and I tell Mom, about all that happened. She didn't really pay attention to what's going on the whole time. And I told my mom, like, hey, I'm gonna have to call our cousin. Do you need to call anybody? You need to call my mom or something real quick before I get on the phone. She's like, no, we can go ahead and call your cousin. So, I'm feeling pretty bad. And I call him up and I'm like, hey, man. He's like, oh, what? Sorry. And I call him up on the house phone. I'm like, hey, man. And he's like, hey, man. And I'm like, he's like, so how did hanging out with your friend or potential new friend, best friend, come along? And I'm like, it went all right, man. I got some bad news. And he's like, oh no, it didn't go too well. And I'm like, well, we had fun. There something happened to the $2 bill and the silver dollar. And yeah, I'm sorry, but man, just till this day, hearing his throat going to his stomach like that, it just really upsets me to think about. But anyway, we're on the phone, and he's like, "Oh no, man, what happened?" And I'm like, "Buddy, I tried, I tried to make another $2 bill." And he's like, "Oh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up." Cause it, ugh. And I'm like, he's like, "What do you mean you trying to make another $2 bill?" And I'm like, "Man, I thought if I put it in the copier." I thought if I put it in the copier, man, it'd make another one. And it ripped inside the copy machine, man. It's gone. He started crying, man. He's like, "Buddy, I found that $2 bill like 2 weeks ago. I thought it was really cool. It's really special to me." And he's like, "What about the silver dollar? Hopefully you still got that silver dollar." And like, man, our potential new friend spent it. He got 2 Mountain Dews for 50 cents each with no tax. Sorry, we're still on the phone, but you know, like he got 2 Mountain Dews, 50 cents, no tax, so $1 even. And he's like, "It's okay," but it wasn't because he was crying and crying and crying. But I felt like, you know, my emotional maturity wasn't what it. My emotional maturity wasn't where it is now. Um, so I was thinking, well, if he's saying it's okay, then it's probably okay. Um, so I was like, "Okay, you got anything else you want to talk about?" I went to Food City, and I was like, "Sorry, we were on the phone." I was on the phone again. I was like, "Hey, since it's okay, you want to talk about anything else?" I went to Food City and got a new page cheat codes out of the magazine. I ripped out the ones got Phantom Menace PS1. If you want to come over, I got some cheat codes. And I should have known better because usually if I tore some cheat codes out of a magazine, he'd be all about it. Especially anything Star Wars, man. We love them Star Wars games. But he's like, "Man, I don't think I'm up to it today. I got a tummy ache. I I got a pack of Gushers last night, and or a box of Gushers last night, and I kind of went through them pretty fast. Now my stomach hurts." I'm like, "Okay, man." I was like, "Yeah. Usually you want to go fruit by foot because you can take out more quantity of those because they ain't got no insides and they're thin. The Gushers, you eat 6 or 7 packs of those in a row, it's the inside gushy parts, man. That's what really messes you up." And I'm like, "Okay, man. Well, I'll let you go for since you got that tummy ache. If you want to come over and play PS1, just let me know. I got that cheat code page." And he's like, "Okay." And I was like, "All right, man." He's like, "All right, man." I was like, "See ya." And he was like, "See ya." And then, I hung up the phone. And I was like, "Mom, off." And I said, "Mom, I'm off the phone." So recently, this event has been brought back up into the public. My cousin made that video not too long ago, and that's why I've been off social media and not been making a lot of videos. It's just something that's time for me to address, and I'm addressing it now. And I'm really sorry to anyone I might have offended. I'm really sorry to the ones that were around those times because I was feeling hurt. I didn't know how to emotionally tell anybody about the hurt I was feeling. I was angry, and I was lashing that anger out, at everyone. I was angry at myself for my own insecurities for losing that silver dollar and that $2 bill. And I didn't, and I was, and all those years, man, I didn't talk to my cousin about it more. I wasn't mature enough to understand that he was just saying it's fine, even though it wasn't. About 5 year after that, this got brought up in the video too. We were sitting outside the high school, and we were just sitting there, and he pulled out a can of Copenhagen wintergreen. And he said, "Hey, you want a pinch?" And I was like, "Cool, I'll take a pinch." So, I packed it, and I did the little trick I do where I put my fingernail into the seal and twist it like a can opener. And I got me a big old. It wasn't economic size pinch. It was a greedy size pinch, and I took out about half. I put a full lipper in, but took out about half the can. And that's just one of those pile-ons I didn't really think about. Little microaggressions, I guess you could call it. That I never felt like I was mature enough to comfort him and apologize. I kept doing these little microaggressions to make it seem like we were best friends and we were still buddies. But all them years before, when we were little kids, I hurt him. And I never apologized for it. I just went on pretending everything was okay. Until recently I saw that video he made about it. And it broke my heart. I didn't understand, man. Kids don't understand consequences. Kids just don't understand consequences, man. So anyone that was around me around them times, man, professionally as a kid and stuff, people I worked with, I'm sorry you had to know me then. Because of all my insecurities and my anger toward myself. And I lashed out. So this is an apology video to my cousin and everyone that was around me back then. I am so sorry. I love you all, and I hope the community can forgive me and not cancel me too bad. Thanks for listening to me.